We're getting right into this next Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle, and today is up against Kruger with a Cerule Edge Avatar, so he's automatically cool in my book. Let's see what we got here. Alright, participating battle team. Are you guys ready for Ivory Lash? Are you ready? I don't know if you're ready. So we got Ivory Lash, Dust Blight. That's the rest of this team. Stormwheel, Cutlass, Sky Grudge, and Valkyron. Opponent's team, two dragons, Hisui and Lilligant, Great Tusk, Fluttermane, and Torkoal. My opponent's got a really strong team. Several Pokemon that benefit from the sun, being the Walking Wake, the Fluttermane, and the Great Tusk. See, that's how you know for a fact I haven't done battles in so long that it's taking me this long to understand and commentate and remember names. It's okay, though. Let me tell you something about Great Tusk. So we all know Great Tusk is phenomenal in every way, and like the precursor Donphan and all that great jazz. But this thing has way too much bulk to still be so offensive. It's ridiculous. Anyways, I was trying to come up with a good winning start strategy here, and the thing is, like, I realized residual effects are going to be really, really important. But then I was like, well, Dragonite still doesn't take damage from spikes, so Dust Blight is really important. No matter what happens to Dust Blight, if I get the Toxic Debris up and I get the Stealth Rocks up, I've kind of got it where I want it. That also forces the Torkoal to try to Rapid Spin, and I don't have anything particular on this team to dodge off Rapid Spin, so that's unfortunate. Don't have a Ghost type, but it's okay. So he's going to be leading with Matatabi, the Walking Wake, as I lead with Dust Blight, the shiny Glimmora, nice and shiny, beautiful, beautiful. I've always liked Glimmora. I hope they do something with it extra. This might be just out of left bar here, but maybe they'll do something with it in ZA. Though I do know the ultimate weapon has everything to do with the storyline and plot from X. But to me, the gym just kind of looks, underutilized. I feel like all of those Pokemon, all of the gym Pokemon, Diancie, Glimmora, and then I guess to a degree AZ Floet's not really a gym Pokemon, but it definitely is underutilized as AZ Floet. Anyway, in comes the Hydro Steam. Please don't burn as I live it on the Focus Sash. Pretty please don't burn. Looks like we did not get burned, and we get the Focus Sash, and he loses Life Orb, so that's nice. We go for a Mortal Spin to go ahead and get this thing poisoned. Residual damage on something so powerful as Walking Wake is always muy importante. So let's go ahead and get that handled right off the rip. I feel like that is going to be beneficial overall. Anyway, now I'm going to get the heck out of there, the Blight out of there, and go into Cutlass the Unrivaled, because Cutlass kind of resists a lot of things this Walking Wake can go for. It doesn't necessarily resist Dragon Pulse. It doesn't resist Dragon Pulse at all. But I figured he'd just go for a Hydro Steam. I wasn't sure what he was going to go for. But he loses Life Orb Recoil plus Poison Residual, and I'm actually Choice Scarfed, so that is phenomenal. I've got an opportunity to go for Ceaseless Edge, and I really need to make myself take it. Because the thing is, like, my Zapdos isn't specially defensive, so I don't really have a good check to this thing. And I'm pretty sure he knows I'm Choice Scarfed the way that I brought it in. That being said, he's going to go out into Sheldon, Shieldon, whatever. It's going to be a Torkoal, which is fine. This opportune moment allows me to get off a Ceaseless Edge. A Choice Scarf Ceaseless Edge does not do very much at all. Even with that Stab Dark typing, Jolly, Scarf, Torkoal's an absolute defensive menace. It doesn't do anything at all. What I figure is that he's going to Rapid Spin anyway. So, if you're going to spin anyway, I'm just going to take this opportunity to continue to stack these hazards. But, he goes for a Stealth Rock instead. So now I got 2 layers of spikes on the field. And I've almost got this Torkoal down too. So I feel like it's a pretty decent trade-off. He then allows me to keep up the spikes on the field. Not a play that I thought he would make. And he goes out to this thing. So now I'm leaning toward the fact that Torkoal may not have the Rapid Spin as he goes out into this thing. And let me tell you something. This is max physically defensive. I have one of these too, and I've used the physically defensive Great Tusk. But that's a critical hit, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's not very effective because it's a dark move, but that's a critical hit, and that doesn't do anything. So, my thing is, he's got the bulk in the defense, but he's also got a lot of attack because that's what photosynthesis allowed him to get. So what I was thinking is, okay, and I totally forgot about Stealth Rocks on this turn. Either that, or I just wanted to sack Duskblight. I'm not sure what I wanted to do. I think I wanted to sack Duskblight so he couldn't get a rapid spin off. But I also like the idea of Toxic Debris, forgetting the fact that Stealth Rock is already in play. The other thing, too, is I think here I was thinking I could go back into Hisuian Samurai. But the problem is this is physically defensive. Like, it doesn't even matter at all. If that's the case, then Valkyrian also can't hit it. So that's a thing. To be honest, the best thing to have taken this thing would be my physically defensive special Ivory Lash, aka Crocodile. The thing that made Crocodile a defensive. Now I realize this is a really, really bad matchup for me, and Earthquake could probably end my face. But my thing is, seeing how physically defensive this thing was, I think it's really, really, really important to understand that we should be able to take a hit from it. Because the rule of thumb is something can't be as bulky as it can be attack-based. But I hate to tell you this Great Tusk is an exception to that rule. Almost said it. Never mind. An exception to that rule. Because this thing is not only as bulky as it should be, but it's also just as physically offensive. Let me show you this Psyshock right here. That doesn't do anything. Now, he did Terrastalize out of his weakness, but that is not the point. The point is that does a ridiculous amount of damage while still having... So he's got the attack race from the photosynthesis, and then he's got all the HP and defense in the world. Now, I ran physically Great Tusk, and I felt like it's like one of the better Pokemon in this format, especially like the last couple of rotations where things have changed out of different tiers. It probably isn't as strong as it once was. However, I see a gigantic Lightning Rod on his side of the field for Storm Wield. So I'm going to go into Storm Wield here, and I'm curious to see what coverage he might have for Zapdos. It doesn't look like he has any. He goes for a move that I don't get hit by at all, and I can easily take those hits. I think I'm physically defensive Zapdos. That is pretty much my favorite set. I do have the Thunder Wave, I do have the Hurricane if I want to try to make some things happen there. Hurricane is a really, really good swap into something like Walking Wake, as is Thunder Wave. Yellow Magic is just good, period. He doesn't have a whole lot on his team to take it, and it's going to incapacitate something and make it much easier for my team later on to deal with these aforementioned threats in his team. What do you guys think about Pokemon Champions? Are you excited? Do you think it's only going to be 10-minute battles? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about Champions and what you're excited for. So, anyways, Walking Wake comes in and we miss Yellow Magic because he's poisoned. So, I guess that came back to bite me. But that poison residual racking down is really good, and Cutlass is a perfect swap here. I do think... No, I don't have, he doesn't have spikes. He just has Stealth Rocks. I think I could take a Stealth Rock switch in. 31. I take it down to 11. This is going to force him to use a move, which is Draco Meteor, which works out perfectly. So he loses +2 special attack for no reason on a Pokemon that I was completely okay sacrificing. I have no issues with that. That's Life Orb recoil, Poison recoil, and the harsh sunlight fades. Photosynthesis wears off, and this thing is on death's door in the red, and I couldn't be happier. So now I'm trying to think of how I want to deal with this thing. I could go into Sky Grudge and take it out with Extreme Speed. I could also probably go into Storm Wheel, take a hit, and roost off the damage, and wear it down with Poison. That's another thought. However, I keep swapping Storm Wheel into these Stealth Rock switch-ins, and that's just not good. I also almost Terrastalized into Steel here, and I guess that could have been an okay play. Not really, because Torkoal comes in. This is a roost opportunity. He's going to get the Sunlight up back no matter what I do, so I'm not specially defensive, so I know I can't take an Eruption from this thing. The only good thing about Torkoal from this range is the fact that Eruption won't do near as much, simply because of the fact it's been worn down over time. That also means I have Dragonite that I can freely switch in as well. Since Stealth Rocks are on the field anyway, it doesn't really matter that Multiscale gets broken by the Stealth Rocks when it's something as not as offensively threatening as a Torkoal. considering I resist that fire, and if he has the eruption, it's not going to do hardly anything, simply because of the HP that he has left. And that was another thing I was thinking of with the Crocodile. And the Crocodile is actually specially defensive. I talk about it in the other video about what makes Crocodile this really defensive tech. It is specially defensive Crocodile with original specially defensive Excadrill effort values, as pointed out in a video by Jimothy Cool. And then put onto a Pokemon with, of course, Intimidate while still having all that special defense. And it comes in clutch right here. As you see, I take absolutely nothing whatsoever from that Flamethrower. We don't even take half. So that's fantastic. I'm looking at ideas here. Walking Wake is pretty much dead. I know it's dead to extreme speed, so they can't really swap it in. And I think he just didn't want to give me a free opportunity to get into Dragonite to do that. There's also the Great Tusk, which I can match up really nicely against with the Bulk Up. I decide to see what he wants to do here. He ends up swapping back into the Great Tusk. And let me explain something. This thing is very, 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 very bulky. However, I match up really well against it. If it doesn't have Ice Spinner for coverage, then I'm pretty comfortable setting up in this thing's face. I could have set up multiple times. I don't know why I didn't click more than one bulk up. This is free real estate and opportunity. I haven't seen anything threatening from this Great Tusk enough to be threatened out. But I also don't want to overdo it, because if I overdo it, then of course I'm going to end up getting messed up. And I'm looking at his team, and I also kind of want to catch him off guard. I want to attack every other turn. I don't want to give the Walking Wake free entrance. I want to make sure the Walking Wake goes down as it switches in, so I think that's really important as well. And that really affected my move choices in this particular situation, because I'm making sure that I can hit the Walking Wake coming in. Anyway, I go for a Terra Blast, and as we were just talking about with this physically defensive set, yeah, that. I was actually very disappointed by that damage. Also, Zapdos kind of walls this thing to oblivion as well, and I think once the Walking Wake goes down, Zapdos has even a better time, because it also knocks out the Torkoal, which is really, really important. And basically my idea was, okay, so I've got the Ipapa Berry. So my thing is, oh, he goes Heavy Slam. Dang. So he does have some kind of coverage in the back for fairies and stuff like that. He outsped me after the Rapid Spin, which is very unfortunate, because I think I could have taken him down. But that would have been a very good opportune moment for Rocky Helmet Zapdos. That would have been a fantastic moment for Rocky Helmet Zapdos. I wish I could have seen that Heavy Slam come in. But I couldn't. Or probably could have, just didn't see it. So I'm going to take some Stealth Rock damage, and I'm not worried about anything this thing can throw at me. I can easily take out the Torkoal and this thing from the range it's at. But I think he's also got a lot of special defense too. I'm not really sure how this Great Tusk is set up. I've definitely never seen one with as much defenses on both sides while still obtaining all of that attack. Never seen that before, ever. He's going to go out into Orchid here, which is going to be the Hisuian Lilligant. There's a hope and a prayer that I went Hurricane. I did not. I went Volt Switch, trying to see what I can go into to stop this thing. It does have the Chlorophyll ability, so I got to keep that in mind as well. However, Valkyron can possibly outspeed it. I don't know, maybe. Kind of curious what I can do with that. I know Psyshock will knock this thing out. So we go out into Valkyron again. Alright, and the thing is, I know we can take it out with a Psyshock, but I'm pretty sure he's going to want to go Victory Dance or go for something. He goes Close Combat, and we live it on 24. That's insane. I did not think we would live that. So, of course, after that Close Combat defensive drop, Psyshock is enough to cleanly smack this thing out of existence. I guess it's a wilted Orchid now. Down it goes. No more problems with that thing. Now, looking in reserve, I think the Great Tusk is really the big issue here. I think wearing it down is very difficult even from this point. I don't have Calm Minds up, so I can't really break it that way. All I've got is Zapdos in the back to wear down that Pokemon. The Walking Wake is still around. I still have Dragonite. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, if I can get this thing worn down, then I can easily take him down. I was like, Dragonite resists this thing. Like, all we're taking is rapid spins. We're not taking earthquakes. I guess we're kind of taking heavy slams, but not really. But Zapdos really does wall it because of the Rocky Helmet damage with the heavy slam and the rapid spin. So we're going to go back to Storm Wield here and try to see what this thing wants to go for. I'm assuming at some point it's going to want to boost its speed again up with that rapid spin. But it's fine because, like, as long as I can get that Rocky Helmet damage and bring him down that way, I can roost stall this thing to oblivion. Because I don't see any way that it could heal off its health. It would be absolutely ridiculous to me if this thing had rest in the last slot. That would be absolutely ridiculous. I know lately there's been some really, really cool tech with these different Pokemon that are really, really superly defensive with rest. And then, of course, using Electric Train in the back so you can wake them up on that turn and so on and so forth. I guess it's kind of like a mid-shift heal bell, if you will, without using a... I guess technically you're still using a team slot because you're setting up Electric Train with a bad Pokemon like Pincurchin. But I guess it kind of outweighs the rewards. Anyways, in comes this thing, and from here I can easily just roost and I know I outspeed. There's no Trick Room up, so I have no threat of this Torkoal at all. Volt Switch is very free and we can take it out. Although I would have to swap out the Zapdos, so I'm having to continually take these Stealth Rock hits, and that's really, really important in the long grind game here, with that Great Tusk just wearing me down. But also Walking Wake, too. While having that Sun Up, Walking Wake is just absolutely threatening. The only thing saving me with Walking Wake is it is in range of Extreme Speed, so I'm sure not only do I have that in mind, but I'm sure my opponent has that in mind as well, as I continually wear down this team. So, this thing is going to come back to me, and now I am trying to decide what I'm going to go into here. As I knock him out, I think Valkyron is the play. He could go back to Great Tusk, predicting me to go to Sky Grudge, and I really don't want to deal with that. So now I feel like Valkyron is the perfect sack. I think it will take one Stealth Rock switch in. It does. We're at 13 health. We will also outspeed Great Tusk. So I think we just try to go for the Focus Blast. We just go for the big Focus Blast, the big Spirit Bomb. We need to get as much damage on this thing as possible and wear it down to the point of Rocky Helmet and Zapdos being able to roost up on it. I've also got in mind that I've got to be careful the way that I bring Dragonite in, because if Walking Wake is still around in Draco Meteors, it's game over for Dragonite. Though, like I said, I can use Extreme Speed. I haven't even used my Terastallization yet, so that's really... Well, yeah, I have used my Terastallization, I'm sorry. I used it on Crocodile. Anyway, this thing is such a freaking roadblock. Like, I'm looking at it like I've got another Stealth Rock switching, because I only took a little bit of damage from that Stealth Rock, and you're still a perfect sacrifice later on as I go back out into Storm Wield. And Storm Wield once again racking up on those pointed stones damage, but also, now he goes close combat, which does quite a bit, but finally brings this point down to a defensive level, which I should be able to take it out. And I was like, oh my god, I want to just eviscerate this thing with a Volt Switch. And even though Walking Wake is neutral Volt Switch, I'm pretty sure it's at the point, too, where it can't come in on worry of a Volt Switch. I also can't give him a free turn, no matter what I have to do, even if I have to roost here. And he makes a really, really good play. I think we both make good plays. He goes back to Monatabi. But the thing is, I've got that poison, and that poison is going to help me so much here. The speed is going to get heightened. And remember when I said that there was a perfect sacrifice? And remember, this thing has Life Orb too? Well, I can freely just go back into Iron Crown and take what little bit of life this thing has left. I think I'll live Stealth Rocks on like 4 or 5 HP, something like that. And then the Zapdos clearly cleans up the Great Tusk. This thing dies, and we are left in a situation where Dragonite can set up on the remaining Pokemon. But he is not done yet. He is going to leave this thing in for one more hit. He will not let this Walking Wake die, just like he won't let this stupid thing die. Neither one of these Pokemon are dying, and it's very frustrating, to say the least. And on the turn, I could have just Volt Switched. Like, he could have died, and then I could have been in the Great Tusk situation and then done that. But Valkyrion is here. This thing is not faster than me, if it is the defensive spread that I believe it is. And here, I feel like I should have just gone Psyshock. I think Focus Blast was the wrong play. Especially since we miss. Like, every single turn of damage is so important here. And I feel like the Psyshock was the play here. It would have definitely put it in range. And then, of course, I think even extreme speed from the range it would have been at after that damage would have been enough to take it out. But I know he's playing the Walking Wake as efficiently as he can because he knows Walking Wake can probably break Storm Wield. But the thing is, he has to swap back into Walking Wake. And, like, at full HP, I'm pretty comfortable with this, but I can also make a double switch. But he's got the attack raise and also the speed, so, like, there's no reason to switch in here. The Harsh Sunlight only has 2 more turns. We could just go for a Roost. As he rapid spins, he's eventually going to bring down to the point of Rocky Helmet damage. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to make sure that Zapdos doesn't leave anything from the Walking Wake. But even one hit from Walking Wake, he'll die to Life Orb and Poison, which will be able to take it out from there. And I think he still has Flutter Mane in the back, too. And Flutter Mane absolutely destroys my team. So, Flutter Mane, Torkoal, and a lot of his Pokemon are just worn down a lot, but he's just going to go into time anyway. He goes for close combat. He keeps predicting me to swap out, I guess, with the close combat situation. And finally, I Volt Switch and take this thing out. So, long story short, Great Tusk is absolutely the craziest, most bulkiest Pokemon in the existence of the world. Also, let me know in the comment section if you like these longer battles or if you like the more sped up ones. I'll try to bring a mix of both. I want to appease both audiences and make sure you guys are enjoying the content that I am providing. I've got some really cool battles and stuff coming for you. I've been working on things and preparing for the most. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. And time.